Once upon a time, there was a happy, carefree character. He wore green neckties and hats just like other people. And he thought Chief had red skin and wore feathers and a G-string. This happy character was a civilian. This happy character was you. But to be a civilian takes practice. That's why you're going to be here for a few days while the Navy explains how to be happy, though a civilian.
Hiya, fellas. As you were, keep your seats. Don't let the rank frighten you. As a matter of fact, with all this gold braid, you may not recognize me. The name is Benchley, Robert Benchley. Officially, Come Fair Wolf Pack. Now, for some reason, I've been chosen to pass the word on as to how the Navy is making civilians out of sailors in these separation centers. It isn't hard to become a civilian. All you have to do is just do what you did to become a sailor, only do it backward. And I ought to know because underneath it all, I'm a civilian here myself. Now, the first thing to do to become a civilian is to go through a separation center. You all know what a separation center is. It's, well, it's like the center of anything. It's, there's the whole Navy. There are some admirals, lots of ensigns, some chiefs, and a couple of enlisted men. You know what an enlisted man is, an ensign in a 13-button uniform. Now, well, let's look at it from another angle. Maybe I'm not making myself as clear as I might in this. I'd foreseen this possibility, and so I've prepared a little movie to show you just how we are making civilians out of sailors at these separation centers. And I think it's about time for the movie. I'm sure you're going to like it because I play all the parts. Lights out, please. Now, first of all, it's a good idea to get a clear picture in your mind of what the Navy's personnel separation centers are like. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for you to orient yourself. You see, this sailor's made himself at home already. Home was never like this. Anytime you fellows would rather see a nice travelogue, you know, we can turn this stuff off. Now, this is called greasing the hull. Just look at that. Did you notice that sailor's shoelace is untied? Hey, somebody should call the shore patrol. Well, things are looking up. Look, fellows, if you'll pardon me, I'm going out and get demobilized myself and let someone else take over explaining the picture.
Why, sure, Bob, sure. This looks like good duty to me. Let's see, where are we? Oh, yes. Now, the Navy agrees with all you men that nothing is too good for the returning sailor. We wanted to make your centers just like this, but we were afraid if we did, we never would get you out of the Navy. However, we tried to make these centers as attractive as we could. Unfortunately, though, there won't be any liberty in the short time you're around because we've got a lot of information to give you about your rights and benefits as veterans, and we've got to get your records all in order. The Navy wants you to feel at ease while you're here, so there won't be too many chiefs around and almost no ensigns at all.
Oh, excuse me, Chief.
See, I told you I played all the parts.
Inasmuch as you will be civilians again in a few days, all things military will be held to a minimum.
What the hell goes on here? Who's responsible for this? I told you guys 50 times not to stand in line at this center. What do you think you are, boot camp? Men! Get these gentlemen some chairs. On the double.
How to forget military habits and become a civilian painlessly is the main course at this center. And one of the steps in the process will be an interview with a specialist who can tell you just about anything you want to know. This man's job isn't to tell you what to do when you leave the Navy. That's up to you.
Right on in. I see by your check sheets you're interested in getting your old job back again.
Yeah, it's a good job, but can I get it?
The law says your boss must give you your old job back, or one equally as good, provided it wasn't a temporary one. Now, we'll let him know you're out of the Navy. You be sure to either go in and see him or write him a letter within 90 days.
Ask your interviewer every question that's in your mind, because the Navy has trained him to give you straight answers to anything you want to know.
Well, what if I want to change jobs later? What about my insurance?
Well, I never had a job. What do I do?
Where do I learn a trade?
In addition to these general interviewers, the Navy has provided for trained officers and civilians to answer any special problems you may have. Experts are available on insurance, pensions, civil service jobs, legal problems and loans for farms or businesses, education at government expense, job analysis. They have the answers to any questions you may have.
I'd like to go to college, but I haven't enough money.
All right, I'm going to suggest you drop in to see our education expert. He'll be able to give you all the information on any college you're interested in. Now, also, when you get home...
Another thing these interviewers will do for you is make out what is known as a referral sheet. It will tell you where to go and whom to see in your hometown for help or information after you leave the Navy.
Remember, the Navy's interested in how you get along. In each naval district, we have what we call a civil readjustment officer, whose job is to help you get squared away in civilian life. So feel free to drop in to see him or write to him if you have any problem.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Fine. Now, don't forget, you got to check with your draft board within 10 days after leaving here. If you've lost your draft card, or if you never had one, or if the Navy picked it up when you came in, you'll have to get another one immediately. But don't worry, you won't mind it as much this time as you did the last.
Going back to civilian life. Civilian life.
Yes, very soon now, you men will be back home and on your own, civilians. Amazingly enough, there's a trick to becoming a civilian. First of all, you must get out of uniform and into civilian clothes as soon as you get home. To distinguish you from ordinary civilians, you'll be given a lapel button. Wear it. It shows that you have served honorably. As civilians, there'll be nobody to tell you what to wear and how to wear it. What's more, there'll be no chiefs around to tell you to stop whistling or to square your hat.
Glass of beer, please.
Yo. Let's see your ID card, Mac.
But believe it or not, for a long time, things will continue to be a little strange. Men don't realize when they're forming habits.
Okay.
As a civilian, you're going to have a lot of new and pleasant experiences.
Benchley, please. Benchley, please.
I could swear I know that face. My name's Benchley. What's yours?
One of the things the interviewer will do for you is certify to your future employer any skills you have. So be clear in explaining what you did in the Navy and before.
Now, let's see. There's no first name here.
Benchley, Seaman, second class. It's long since I used it. I forgot I had one. Robert.
Let me see. Did you learn anything in the Navy, Benchley?
Brother, were you ever in Hotel Street, Honolulu?
No, I mean a trade. Who was your former employer?
The Antipluvial Puddle Skylight Corporation.
What's that?
Antipluvial Puttyless Skylight Corporation.
What did you do there?
I was a putty patter.
Give me that again.
I patted putty to make it antipluvial.
I thought you said it was puttyless.
Oh, that's just a trade name.
Look, Mac, all I'm trying to do is to find out if you can operate any kind of a machine.
A putty patter?
What kind of a machine is that?
Well, it isn't exactly a machine. Oh, sure it's a machine, I guess. You'd say it was a machine. It's a you push down here with this foot, you see, and then this whole thing lifts up. It's all putty. The whole business is putty, and it lifts up and sort of putties. It's all operated by sort of levers. Did you ever see a reaper?
Yeah.
Well, that isn't exactly like it either. There are several. Do you do much fishing?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you fish, you get the worms sort of over here, and then you get a lot of hooks. Fish are all out there. You get, you know, this is the way we used to do it back home, I know. You get one fish to come in as close as you can, and then you take the worm and throw it on the fish, you know. And then the hook, and then quick, you see, you do that. And by that time, well, it isn't the same principle as the putty patter, but it's.
Yeah. What did you say your name was?
Putty patter. Putty.
You take your physical right down at the dispensary.
Thank you.
Look, Mac, ask him to pay particular attention to your head, will you?
Yes, I know. Ever since you've been in the Navy, it seems some doctor has been looking down you or up you or between you. But at least the physical you take in the next day or two will be the last the Navy will ever bother you with. There won't be any shots this time. Here your health record must be completed and finally closed. Perhaps, either now or in the future, you'll be entitled to a pension. A complete record of any service-connected disability will help you get it. So don't try to hide any wounds, injuries, or diseases you got while in the service. And if you wish, you can make a pension claim right here. None of these things will delay your discharge 1 minute.
It's remarkable how many things the Navy is interested in.
Sometime before you leave here, you're going to close out your pay account. And it's going to be quite a bankroll, too, because beside your regular pay, most of you will receive the first installment of your mustering out pay, plus 5 cents a mile travel allowance to your place of enlistment or induction.
Adams, John.
All of this for Mrs. Benchley's little boy. Yes, sir. Use your head, Benchley. When I want your advice, I'll ask for it. Go on, send that money home or get a bond or a money order. Use your head, Bub. And stop calling me Bub. Say, who the hell am I talking to, anyway?
You know, George, there are a lot of things I wasn't sure about until I talked to that interviewer today.
Yeah, those guys sure know their stuff. He said the government would pay me $50 a month if I want to go back to college.
Geez, tomorrow's it.
That's right.
Funny thing about the Navy, I won out worse than I won $1 million, but sometimes I guess I'm gonna miss it.
Not as much as $1 million.
Oh, I ain't asking to stay in. I wouldn't do another hitch if they made me a JG.
Don't worry, they won't.
No, all I mean is that sometimes I had a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, sometimes is right.
You know, the way I figure, nobody knows what we know, except the guys that have been in the Navy.
Yeah, we belong to the most exclusive damn club in the whole world.
You gotta be crazy to join us.
Yeah.
Hey, what the hell is that?
Let's catch it and see what it eats.
Pleasant dreams, gentlemen, pleasant dreams.
Hey, you don't expect to sleep in that.
Don't get thumb marks on it. That's very classy material.
Yeah, but what is it?
Well, for your information, Lugs, this is a garment known to civilians as pajamas. They're worn at night after all the outer clothing has been removed.
I don't believe it.
And furthermore, when civilians sleep together, in a nice way, they request that the others wear them too.
I don't think Marge is gonna like it.
No, it ain't practical.
Well, my young friends, in view of rather elaborate plans that I've made for tomorrow, I am going to get me some sleep. One side, please. I said, a little sleep. Shove off. Shove off. Come on, shove off.
That's all good. Now I've seen everything.
Tomorrow's the day. Permanent living, plenty of dough. What do you think the government gives you that dough for, anyway? Go away. What do you bother me? It's my dough. I'll do what I like with it. Well, it won't be yours long if you don't send it home. You don't have much confidence in me, do you? You might have the courtesy to answer me. That guy gets on my nerves. I can take care of myself. I've been around. That's right, Bub. Tomorrow's the day. Why, you can see Tony's bar in your dreams right now, can't you? No harm in dropping in for just a minute, is there? Just to listen to the music, of course. Get you now. With music like that and a few more drinks, you're going to be easy pickings, Bob. Go away, boy. You bother me. Not you, Mac. Keep on working. Okay, but you're going to get rolled as usual. When you wake up broke, don't say I didn't warn you. Give my friend a drink here. Keep on working. I'll be back in a minute. Better take my cap. With any luck at all, I won't be back. Give me a double rye, will you? Here goes that mustering out pay. Never know it to fail. Press it, huh? Another? You're going to wake up broke, Bob. You're going to hate yourself in the morning. Give me another. Feel better, huh? Well, after one more of those Boilermakers, you'll think Gravel Gertie here's a pin-up girl. Oh, there you go again. I wouldn't go for that dog if I had 10 wondering.
Bob, where have you been all my life?
Was sitting here waiting for you.
Well, if I'd only known.
Say, why don't you and I...
Why, sure, Bob.
Well, what are we waiting for? Listen, fellas. After a few drinks in one of those clip joints, they all look like Ava Gardner, the movie star. But take my word for it, it won't be. So hang on to your money.
During your last day here, you'll have a talk with an officer whose job it will be to make sure that you are completely squared away toward becoming a civilian and that all your questions have been answered.
Well, I see here that the general interviewer sent you to our education expert.
Yes, sir.
Did he give you all the dope you needed?
He sure did.
That's fine. Now, Peterson, when you go to see the registrar, I want you to be sure that you take along this form, 553, and also this rating description. You see, they will give him all the information he needs about the schools you attended in the Navy. And another thing, your future employer may want the same information. So hang on to them. They're important.
Right, sir.
Now, is there any other way the Navy can help you? Any questions you'd like to ask?
Well, yes, sir, there is one question.
All right, what's that?
When can I go home?
Well, men, this is it. You've been assembled for your official discharge from the Navy, and we'll make it as brief as possible. In a few minutes, you will receive a piece of paper. Its money value is not great. Perhaps it costs the government 5 cents to print. And yet to each of you, for the rest of your lives, it will be one of the most valuable things you'll ever have, because it says for all your countrymen to hear that you have served well and honorably in the United States Navy. It is your certificate of discharge. Whether you served on a battleship or a tender, in an airplane or a submarine, or perhaps behind a desk in Saipan or Pearl or Chicago or Bremerton or Boston, this certificate means you will have the respect and honor of your fellow citizens. It means you'll be welcomed home as one who has served his country in time of war.
Alan, A.L. Thank you, Alan. Brent, DM. Good luck, Brent. Thank you. Adams, MC. Thank you, Adams. Thank you. Johnson, J.N. Thank you, Johnson. Good luck. Benchley, RM. Benchley. Thank you, Benchley.
When you receive that discharge certificate, you're practically a civilian. But a part of the Navy is going home with you. Something of what it taught you will always be with you. You can't take the Navy off as you might a coat or a sock. No, there won't be any bands playing when you hit the old hometown. But America is proud of her veterans, and America is more grateful to her veterans than she can ever say.